Hi beautiful people. So today I wanted to talk about a book called Walden's Pond, and I wanted to talk more about the section that he describes on economy. And why I want to talk about this is very simple, because we have fueled a society that has invented all these gadgets on time saving, but for some reason we're always busy. And I think the reason is that the only way to really save time is create a lifestyle that you don't have to worry about your iPhone, you don't have to worry about your computer, you don't have to worry about your upkeeping your car, and so on and so forth. Actually, our society has created things to make us waste time, because even though your car gets you to work faster, you can communicate with people in a much faster rate, you actually have to fund these tools. And the funding of these tools takes more time than actually not having them at all. Which are not to say don't have a car, don't have a phone, or don't have anything. I'm just saying we have to be very careful with what we purchase and what we buy, in believing that it's going to save us time. Because most of the things that we believe are saving us time are actually making us waste a lot of time. And so a good example he gives is, let's say I get onto my bike and I go to work and it takes me an hour. Now, getting on my bike, my expense getting there was $0, right? Let's say you get into your car and it takes you 10-15 minutes to get to work, or that's if you're lucky, because if you might get stuck in traffic, but you have to pay maybe $5 to $10 of gas, potential ticket, but that, I mean, you don't get a ticket every day, and so on and so forth. So in fact, for the time that it's taking you to fuel your car and to make the monthly payments, it's actually taking you more time than if you would have a bicycle. It just appears that you're going faster. In fact, all you're doing is getting to work faster, to work for your car longer. Now, if you have a family, you obviously need a vehicle, so I'm not here to say have or don't have a vehicle. I'm just here to say is we have to start paying attention to the things that are actually saving us time, or the things that appear to be saving us time but are actually costing us more time and money in the long run. So his whole idea in Walden's Pond is simplify your life, which was sort of Gandhi's ideas too, right? Simplify your life. Get rid of all the stuff that is not important in your life, that's making you waste time, that's making you stress out. We are not here to stress. We're not meant to stress. The amount of stress that we are experiencing is due to a social overload. Society wants you to work and spend, work and spend, work and spend, so you can keep up with the Joneses, and this is the absolute opposite of simplifying. Now, I've noticed something, because my parents have a little bit of a revenue home. 15-20 years ago, people had a one car per family, right? And they still managed to live, they managed to do their stuff, but amazing is they always paid their rent on time, and they wouldn't stay in the apartment as long, which is to say that they would fund enough money to be able to put a down payment on their own property and not pay rent as long. Now, families have 2 or 3 cars. We have a family upstairs. They have 4 cars in their family, and they're never on time for the rent. And it's kind of sad, because the rent is only like $630 a month, and there are 4 people in there. So it's to say, actually, their idea of having a car and saving them time has actually burned their revenues, has burned their assets. They have probably no money saved up, and so on and so forth. And so that's what we need to start looking at. We need to start looking at the things that are burning your money and are burning your time and are stressing you out. So you have to simplify your life as much as possible, where you put some of that money back into your pocket, and also you have enough energy and less stress to manage your day in a much healthier fashion. So all this to say, if sometimes you have to make sacrifices, example like have 1 family car or have 1 phone per family, this is not a bad thing, because this will create a situation where you have more of a financial future versus the situation where you're bound to collapse, right? So the idea is this, right? If you're making $1,000 a week, which most people are obviously not in our society, you don't want to create a lifestyle which makes you spend $1,000 a week. Because let's face the facts, as Jack Nicholson says, this might be as good as it gets. So your $1,000 a week might be that you're at your financial peak, right? So if next week a situation happens where you're making only $700 a week, and you've created this lifestyle around $1,000 a week, then you're basically screwed. So you have to create a lifestyle that is well under your revenues. And it's not to say don't dream bigger, like dream big, try and do all the things that you're setting out to do, educate yourself, spend money on education whenever needed, but don't spend money on gadgets that might hinder your lifestyle later. Remember, as we're getting older, we're getting weaker, we have less tolerance for work, and in fact, the average person's getting older decreases their market value. So you want to simplify your life as soon as possible and as quickly as possible so you can put that money back into your pocket. Why am I telling you this? Because we are creating a society that is headed towards deficit, even though we don't want to look at it. We're in a thriving time, apparently. So simplify your life. I can't say it enough. Whatever gadgets you don't need, whatever residual debts you can get rid of every month, get rid of them. Focus on educating yourself, focus on your training. Don't focus on the latest gadgets. It's gonna wear off. It's not gonna be worth anything after a while. And that's another thing he says in Walden's Pond. He goes, never watch the news, because if you don't watch the news for 2 months, you can start watching it again and you missed out on nothing. And so I'm going to go a step further. When it comes to commercial and advertisement, don't watch them. Don't buy into that garbage, because you can skip out on it for 6 months to 10 years and then just jump right back on and be back on the Joneses and be broke again, right? So, summing up, I went a bit on a tangent. Simplify your life, get rid of what you don't need. If you could get by on one family car, actually myself, I've never really driven. I've been fine. You save a little bit of money at the end of the month. Only have a car if your family really needs it. Your kid has to go to school in a certain area and so on and so forth. And your phone, use it to call people. Stop being a zombie. It's like sad when you see like kids 18, 19 years old and they're just like glued to their phone. I mean, if you're trying to connect with somebody, try and connect to the people around you versus trying to connect to cyberspace to somebody who's probably not half paying attention to you anyways, because he's texting you while they're eating. So again, simplify your life.